Hello everybody. Today we are going to discuss about creating multi-level hierarchy. Okay. So far we have seen only single level. Okay, one superclass, one subclass. So today we'll discuss about multi-level hierarchy. So if you remember, we have discussed in the last class about super keyword. So what is super keyword? Whenever a subclass needs to refer to its immediate superclass, it can do so by using super keyword. Super means we are referencing superclass object. We are referencing superclass. Okay. So in today's discussion we will know about multi-level inheritance, and also we'll learn how to create multi-level hierarchy. Okay. So what is multi-level? One can build hierarchies that contain as many layers of inheritance as one like. Given three classes A, B, C. So C can be subclass of B, which is a subclass of A. So here you can create any number of levels. Like one superclass is derived into subclass. Again subclass becomes superclass, and again it has another derived class. So like that hierarchy goes on. So if you see here, A is superclass to B, and B, it is subclass of A and superclass of C, and again C is subclass of B and A, because B and A are upper classes, that means superclasses for C. Okay, so one class is again derived into subclass, another subclass is again derived into another subclass. Like that hierarchy goes on. This is called multi-level hierarchy. So with the above description, each subclass inherits all the properties found in all of its superclass. So in the above diagram case, C inherits all aspects of B and A, because C is derived from B and B is derived from A. So C is derived from both A and B. So it gets all properties of both the classes A and B. So here we will see how to write code. What is the syntax? A derived class with multi-level base classes is declared as follows. See here, class A is the superclass. Class B extends A. So class B is the subclass of class A. It is first level. If you again derive, next level is class C extends B. Okay. So class is C is the subclass of class B. This is second level. So like that class D extends C. Okay. It will go on. So can you give any real life examples for multi-level inheritance hierarchy? Let's see now. Okay. What are the examples? If you see in real life. So you can see employee, manager. Employee is the superclass or base class. Manager is the subclass of employee. Clerk is manager's subclass, and waged employee is subclass of clerk. So if you see another example, manager accounts department, manager IT department, manager HRD. Okay. So these are all multi-level hierarchies. Yeah, if you see any other examples like shape. Shape is rectangle, circle, triangle. Okay, and rectangle, square, rounded rectangle. These are all multi-level hierarchies. Each level, okay, we derive. So if you see the example, add a class shipment to class box weight, which is a subclass of box. If you remember, we have seen box and box weight classes in previous classes. Box is the superclass, box weight is the subclass. Okay, now here we are adding shipment class to the subclass of box weight. Okay, here shipment is newly added subclass to box weight. So box weight is the subclass to box. Okay, so what happens here, shipment class inherits some properties from both box weight and box. See the example, class box. So now we are, see here, there are three classes, box, box weight, shipment, and there are two levels, box, box weight, and box weight to shipment. Okay, so we are now creating box class. So we have discussed in the previous class. So box has, what are the properties? Width, height, depth. Okay, so these are all we declared as private. So here we are creating an object, we are copying, okay, an object of some other object type. So here what is the constructor? Box, box object. What we are passing? We are passing object to constructor. Object means it has three properties. We are passing all three properties to box constructor. So now we are passing box object. What we are passing? That object values are assigned to your instance variables. Okay, ob dot width is equal to instance variable width, ob dot height is equal to instance variable height, and ob dot depth is equal to instance variable depth. Yeah, so another constructor used when all dimensions specified. So here we are passing three parameters to constructor box. It is parameterized constructor, double w, double h, double d, and we are assigning these values to instance variables width, height, depth respectively. Okay, and also there is one default constructor box. What it will do? It will uninitialized. I mean, there is not, it will do nothing actually. Width is equal to -1, height is equal to -1, depth is equal to -1, means -1 to indicate an uninitialized box. It is not initialized. Okay, and another constructor is box. It's taking one parameter, that is length. So that length is assigned to both all three, width, height, depth. Okay, whatever we are passing length, that parameter is assigned to all three instance variables. That means we are constructing a cube that is of, all the sides are width, height, depth, all are same size. Okay, that is called cube. Yeah, so if you want to find out the volume, there is a method double volume. That means it will return the double value. The double value is width into height into depth. So volume method will return width, height, depth. Next, we are creating box weight. Okay, so to box weight now fully implements all constructors. So here box weight is the subclass of box. So here double weight. Okay. In the previous example, length, height, width. Now weight is there. So that is why we are declaring here. This is local to, this instance variables is uh, um, defined in the subclass box weight. Weight is not part of superclass box. So same, we are implementing all the constructors of superclass box weight. We are passing object to constructor box weight. Okay, and what are the first thing we need to do if you want to call superclass constructor? Super object. Okay, we are calling superclass object. That means we are calling superclass constructor to initialize values. Next, box weight. Same parameters here. Extra added is M, W, H, D. So already we have initialized W, H, D in the superclass constructor. So we are calling that superclass constructor, and here extra we are initializing M to weight instance variable. Next, another default constructor also we are calling superclass constructor, and for other values and for weight we are initializing here. So another constructor we have used in the superclass is double length, but here we are passing two parameters, length and weight. So length already it's initialized in superclass, so you are using that superclass initialization, that is super length. But here we are doing initialization of M variable, that is the M we are initializing weight, and M value is assigned to weight. Yeah, so we have another. So before previously box and box weight we have seen, but for creating multi-level hierarchy, second level hierarchy, we are creating another class, that is shipment. Okay, so to add shipment cost we need shipment class. So class shipment extends box weight. So shipment is the subclass of box weight. So here we have another instance variable cost. Okay, so same like previously we are also constructing clone of an object. So for that we are passing shipment object to constructor shipment. So what are we calling? Super object. That means what it will do? It will call its immediate superclass. What is it? Box weights constructor. So in the previous box weight constructor, this is box weight. Yeah, see here. What it's calling super object, and here extra we are initializing object weight. So now box weight has all the initializations of all the variables, that is width, height, depth, weight. So now we are calling that constructor here, and extra only we need to initialize is cost instance variable. Okay, so for that we are assigning this object cost to cost instance variable. So why we need constructor? Constructor is used to initialize instance variables. So here we are initializing cost instance variable to what is the value we are assigning? Object dot cost. Whatever the other object we are passing, that object's cost is assigned to our instance variable. Yeah, so same thing here. There are 5 parameters we are passed. So 4 parameters already constructed already initialized in box weight class. So super WHDM is called to access box weight constructor, and extra one variable that needs to be assigned is cost. So that C value is assigned to instance variable cost. Same thing, shipment default constructor we are calling superclass constructor, that means box weight class constructor default constructor, and extra we are doing initialization of cost. Another constructor is we are passing here instead of 2 3 variables. So already double length double m are initialized in box weight superclass. So that is why we are calling super length comma m. Okay, so those values will be initialized. Here this is the main program. The class name is demo shipment. Okay, so here we are declaring double volume variable of type double, and we are creating two shipments. Okay, one shipment has length, height, width, volume and cost. Same shipment, another shipment which has another dimensions, length, width, height, length 2, width 3, 4, height 0.76 is the volume and 1.28 is the cost. So volume is equal to, let's see what is this, double width, height, double D, double M, double C. So next we are finding out volume. So how it will get shipment dot volume. So volume means what is the volume method does? Let's see what is volume. Volume, what it does? It returns width, height, depth. Okay. So shipments width, height, length, width, height it will return. So it's printing what is the volume of shipment 1, and system.out.println weight of shipment 1. Okay, it is there in the parameters actually, and one is printing cost. Okay, we have length, width, height. If you see the first shipment 1 object, we are passing parameters, 5 parameters we are passing. L is equal to 10, length, width, height. Width is equal to 20, height is equal to 15. Okay, so we'll see the next. We are also finding out the volume of shipment 2, and that is what we are printing, volume and weight. Okay, so you can do let me see what is volume function here, volume method, sorry. So it will return width, height, depth, and what are the parameters we are passing is so M is cost, last one is cost variable. Okay, what is M here? Weight. Okay, so if you see from the beginning, see here, width, height, depth. Okay, weight, cost. So I'll explain you again. See here we have created two shipment objects. One is shipment 1, another one is shipment 2. So what shipment 1, we are passing parameters as length is equal to 10, height is equal to 20, width is equal to 15, weight is equal to 10, and cost is equal to 3.41. So we are now what we are doing, we are finding out the volume of ship 1. Volume method does, it will return L into length into width into height, that is 10 into 20 into 15 for shipment 1 object, that is 3000. Okay, So this first system.out.println returns volume of shipment 1 is 3000 and weight of shipment 1 is 10. Okay, shipping cost is 3.41. Okay, so what your program prints? 3000, 10, 3.41. And for shipment 2, what is the volume? 2 into 3 into 4. 24 is the volume. 0.76 is the weight. 1.28 is the cost. Okay, you will get those values. You can execute this and verify the values. Okay, that is about creating multi-level hierarchy. You can go on creating superclass, subclass, next another subclass, another subclass, another subclass, like that. There is no limit to create hierarchy. Okay, so that was multi-level hierarchy. And next topic is using final keyword. Okay, like super keyword, it's also final keyword. So what we will learn in this discussion is how to use final in inheritance. So how final can be used to prevent overriding. Okay, so we have learned so far multi-level inheritance hierarchy. So what is final class? That means final classes cannot be extended. Okay, to declare final classes, we write public final keyword class, class name. Okay, so what is final? Final means it is final, that's it. That means there is no more extension. That means there is no more creating subclass from this existing class. So final means no more inheritance. Okay, no more deriving another class. That is end of it. Final means it cannot be extended further. Okay, so how we declare is public final class name. If you give final to the class name, that means that class is that class will not be extended further. Yeah, there are some final methods. Like final class, we have final methods. So methods that cannot be overridden are called final methods. To declare final methods, we write public final, what is the return type, method name and parameters. So it is like any other in method in Java. Only thing is, if you want to if the method we don't want to override this in another class, that method should be given as final. Okay, that means the method is not overridden in the next subclasses. Okay, there is no new derivation for this method, so it cannot be overridden. So static methods are automatically final. Static means there are static. The methods are, the definitions will not change for any object. Okay, whatever, how many objects you create, for each and every object the method definitions will not change. Okay, those are called static methods. So we'll see how to create a final method. So as we know how to give what is the syntax: public final string get name. Okay, get name is the method, string is the return type, final is the keyword and public is the access specifier. So what it will does, the get name method will return name. Okay, so final means in the next subclasses this cannot be overridden. Yeah, so what are the uses of final keyword? So there are 3 uses of final keyword. It can be used to create the equivalent of named constant. Okay, so it can be used to create the equivalent of named constant. So we will see what is that. And another usage is to prevent overriding, and one more thing is to prevent inheritance. So overriding, if it is to prevent overriding means we are not allowing that method to be, the definition to be changed in the next subclasses. That means it prevents from inheritance. So we'll see one by one how to prevent method overriding using final. So method overriding is one of Java's most powerful features. Okay, so there will be times when you want to prevent it from occurring. Method overriding comes, override will change the method definition in another subclasses. Okay, that is method overriding. So there will be times when we want to prevent it from occurring. So to disallow a method from being overridden, use final modifier at the start of the declaration. So if we think that method definition should not change in the subsequent classes, we will say final. Don't change the definition. Okay, that is final. So methods declared as final cannot be overridden. So we'll see how to prevent overriding. Example, class A final method is meth. Okay, meth, that will return nothing and it is a final method. So system.out.println, this is a final method. In the subclass, class B extends A void method. Okay, so if we are printing illegal, okay, that means what is method function will do in superclass? That will print this is a final method. Here in the subclass also, final means that definition should not be changed. But here we are giving another definition to method. Okay, so that should be this is a final method. It should print only this is a final method. But here we are saying it should print illegal. So this is error. Okay, what is that error? Cannot override. So compiler will say you cannot override because that method is declared as final. No more other definitions for method, meth. Okay, so that is how you can prevent overriding. As I told you, meth is declared as final, hence it cannot be overridden in B. If you attempt to do so, a compile time error will result. Methods declared as final sometimes provide performance enhancement. So normally Java resolves calls to methods dynamically at runtime. Okay, this is called late binding. So since final methods cannot be overridden, a call to one can be resolved at compile time. So this is called early binding. So what dynamic binding, late binding means, it at runtime the call is attached to the definition method. Okay, so calls to methods that is allocated at runtime. Okay, that is called late binding. So here final methods cannot be overridden. So the call is resolved at compile time only. Okay, it will not, because there will not be no more two definitions. Only final method means only one definition. So there is no chance of selecting which method to execute. Okay, there is only chance of one, that is final method should be called. Okay, there is no other definition for the same method. So there is no need of selecting which one to call. So that means early binding only possible when we use final method. Yeah, how to prevent inheritance using final. So sometimes you will want to prevent you want to prevent a class being inherited. See, not all the times we allow classes to be inherited. There are some chances we prevent a class being inherited. So to do this, use the final keyword before the class declaration. So far we have seen only method being declared as final. So method definition will not be changed in the subsequent classes, in the subclasses. Okay. But how to prevent inheritance means by declaring the final class. The class is declared as final. That means that class is preventing from inheritance. That is final class. No more adding features to that class. Okay, no more deriving from that particular class. So to do this, use final keyword before the class declaration. So declaring a class as final implicitly declares all of methods as final too. So if we say class is restricted means all the methods also restricted, all the members of that class is also restricted. Okay, to for further inheritance. Okay, so if you want to prevent inheritance, you have to use final keyword before the class declaration. If you want to prevent method overriding, use final keyword to method declaration. There the method only avoids overriding. But here if you declare class as final, that means the whole class is prevented from inheriting into another class. Okay, there are no subclasses created from that final class. Okay, so that is what we have learned in this class. We have learned about multi-level hierarchy, and also we have learned what is final keyword. So final keyword is used to avoid method overriding and also to prevent inheritance. Okay, that is all for today's class. We'll see more concepts in next class.